Hello good people, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's yet another day, and today I want to show you outside Poland what it really looks like outside. Because it's 1st May today, and I just want to show you how the Polish celebrate their holidays. You know, you can see the road is not that crowded today, not so many cars parked on the way, and not so many things ongoing. Shops are closed. Let's go, let's see what happens. Okay, bye. I decided to also do light. I have shades because it's getting brighter, and we are used to dim days, so the eyes are still adjusting. Was it the pupil? I don't know, but we are still adjusting to the condition. So let's go out and do some content. Some outdoor content. I think we are all used to indoor content, so most of the time I'm always in the house, but today I just want us to do it outside and get to see how Poland looks like. Can you hear it? Imagine I'm walking on the main highway and it's so it's not any noisy. It's no noise. There's no noise. It's not noisy. And that's a typical holiday in Poland. Everything gets to be shut down. I think most people travel, so that's what really happens. So let's go to the park and create some content that I have in store for you all. Let's go. So I have found a perfect spot to shoot this video, and on today I hope the background sounds are not that loud. And on today's video, it's the student edition episode. Is it 3 or 4? 3 or 4, something there, somewhere there. And on today's title, we are going to talk about the 5 major questions you are going to be asked at the embassy or concerning your interview in order to receive your visa. So last time we talked about the requirements you need, and this week we are going to speak about the type of questions you are going to ask once you have all your documents ready, the appointment date set, and you're at the embassy. The type of question you are going to expect in order to receive this visa for your student school. If I'm making sense. The first question that I'm going to speak about is the question about your sponsor. So this is a very, very crucial question that you're going to be asked. First, they want to know who your sponsor is, if you have any relationship with your sponsor, and if yes, you have to know that you might expect them to ask you the documents that are going to support who your sponsor is. So for instance, if you say your sponsor is your uncle, you have to present documents that states the relationship of your uncle. Could be from your mother's side or your dad's side. So you have to be able to produce these documents if they ask you about it. So also be sure they are going to ask you about what your sponsor does in terms of profession, if he's an accountant, a teacher, all those questions. So you have to be ready to answer what your sponsor does. And anything else they ask about your sponsor, if I've not forgotten, is Yeah, I think those are the major questions that they're going to ask about your sponsor. But just be sure that the type of question they ask, they're tricky questions. It's, you always know the answer, but you have to be brave in terms of answering them, so that they might twist them, but they want to see if you're answering, if you're genuine, and if you're on the same page from the beginning towards the end. So please be careful with this type of questions. They're tricky questions. You know the answers. Just be careful and answer them the way they're supposed to be answered. So this is one of the most trickiest and always asked question. So please have all the information, and always don't answer information that is irrelevant to the documents you have presented to them. So for instance, you have different sponsors on the pages, and it's a different type of thing that you're answering them. They might even end up asking like the full names for your sponsor, you know, such things, so that they can see and know if you're speaking the truth or you're just lying there. So please be confident, know who your sponsor is. You have to dig deeper about your sponsor, so that you might not be blank when answering them when they ask you such type of questions to present. Okay. Other question they will ask you about is if you know the school you are going to, what's the name of your school, maybe where is it found, and what course are you going to take. So you have to be sure what's the name of your school, the course you're going to take, the location of your school, and also some information about your school. So please also do research about the school you're going to attend or settle in, so that you're able to, you know, present the question, answer it in the right way when they ask you about your school at the embassy. Yeah, most probably, yeah. So just be sure of the school that you're going to, know the name. You don't have to pronounce it in Polish term, because most schools are in Polish, but just know, have a clue, like, is it a polytechnic, is it a private school, just know what your school is and what course you're going to do, for how long you're going to do it. That's going to be important for you and also for them. Well, they are on the third question. They're also going to ask you about accommodation. So that's why I told you accommodation is going to be the most important thing that you're going to consider here. So if they ask you about the accommodation, know where you're going to sleep, who's going to host you, because like I said before, nobody is going to send you to their country knowing that you're going to sleep on the street. So please present the accommodation staff before them, let them know where you are going. Sometimes they might even go to an extent, if you say that you have accommodation, they ask you the address, they ask you the house contract. So don't lie. If you don't have, find it now, know the address, because some landlords, they would want to see if you say you have accommodation, how long you have paid for it, what's the contract. So be sure, be confident. If you don't have accommodation, go ahead, find one. If it's really unable for you, find a solution, so that once they ask you this question, you're able to answer them in the most appropriate way, a way that is convincing, a way that makes them feel confident to issue this visa. Yeah, so if you don't have one, I don't know, but just find a way to get one so that you can settle in. And on the fourth question, the most tricky question is for how long you're going for your studies, and if you're going to go back home to your home country after you are done with your studies. So this is one of the trickiest questions they ask. Like, okay, so assume it's like 26, you're done with your studies, what are your plans? Yeah, they don't ask like direct, like, okay, you're done with school, so are you coming back home? No, they just ask you in a tricky way, like, what are your plans? Are you going to come back, or are you just going to stay there? So please be in a position to answer them the most appropriate answer. Like, you don't need to say that, no, I'm not planning to come back to my country. So that will put them in a position that maybe you're not going to study, you have other plans there, so they might deny you a visa. So let them know that your intention is studying, and once you're done, you're going back home. And for them, they will ask you like, why will you want to come back home? You know, it's like, answer me this, and out of your answer they ask you a question out of it. So please, if you say that no, I'm going to come back home, they will go to an extent and ask you like, why are you coming back home? Why are you not staying there? So you have to be also provide answers to that. Let them know why you want to go back home once you're done with your studies. But for most students that I've talked to with, they always say that if you say that you're going to stay here, you always straight away be denied the visa. So please find the correct answer. I don't want to like give you what I said, but because you know we have different opinions, so it might be different from mine and yours, but please find answers that are going to convince them that you're going back home, and for what reasons. You get? Yeah. So if you really want to, you might end up answering that I want to stay and do masters there. So please make it seem like you will stay for masters and not for some of other things. You get? Because at the end of the day, they want to send students, get education there, and come back home and build their country. You know, nobody wants students to always stay in their countries once they're done with their studies. So yeah, so be brave, be brilliant, be bold when you're answering your questions. Yeah. So that is the fourth question that you're going to be asked, that you have to be sure about it. And on the fifth question of the most important always asked question is like, do you have a family member in the country that you're going to? Like, they might ask you this so that they might increase their confidence in giving you their visa. So you can't say I don't have a relative, but I have a friend who, if anything happens, is in a position to help you out. So once you tell them that maybe I have a friend, like I said, they might go to an extent and ask who your friend is, what the friend does, you know. So don't just say yes, I have a friend with no supporting answer. Don't say you have a relative and you don't, or maybe you have. So if you say you have a relative, please put it in your mind that they're going to ask you the relationship you have with this relative of yours. So if you say I have a cousin, they will ask you for their birth certificate to just prove that this is your cousin. And they also might go ahead and ask you, okay, you have a cousin, where does the cousin say? Is he or she staying in which city, which what are they doing there? For instance, am I working? Am I also a student? So please be sure that these are the type of questions they will ask you. Personally, I was not asked so many questions because my presentation before the interviewer was really perfect, like she told me after the interview. So once they see you are confident and you know what you're doing, what you're answering, where you are going, you understand what you're going to do, they don't ask you many questions. So they might even end up asking you 2 or 3, depending on how you answer them. So the more you complicate the more you're going to complicate these things, the more they are going to even ask you more and more questions to see your ability and if you really understand where you're going. So be confident. That's one tip. Know what you're doing there. Present all your documents and do your part. Yeah, just do your part. And once they're done, once they see your confidence, your abilities, trust me, in a week's time or 2 weeks, however it will take, they're going to give you your visa. So yeah, that's all. That's all. Those are the 5 major questions that I can think of, and which I know for sure they are going to ask you. And if you feel that there's another question you might be thinking that I'm going to be asked this one, but you don't know how to answer it, just inbox me or comment down below. Let me know, and I'll feel free to answer you either private or in public on how you want it to be answered. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it's as made you feel confident, and it has built, it has created, it has built something in you that has made you sure that for sure I'm going to receive this visa, and I don't need to be scared or afraid. Like I said, if you're missing any document that is so important to them, they're going to ask you to present it. It's not like if I don't have this, I'm not going to be issued. No, they will always ask you, give you a time frame to go collect it and drop it at their embassy. Yeah, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's not that perfect, but I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, and as for me, let me enjoy the sun, let me enjoy the view, let me enjoy the park. It's a holiday, and happy holidays, happy Labor Day, which will be overdue. Yeah, so yeah, until next time, bye.